What do you do when you feel hurt and emotionally overwhelmed? Often, the challenges we face in life can be so overwhelming that we find ourselves traveling the rabbit hole of depression and utter helplessness. And challenges or problems are no respecters of persons. It doesn't matter whether you are rich or poor, black or white, gay or straight, employee or business owner. Everyone, from time to time, has to deal with their own stuff. And it can be so lonely and overwhelming at times when you are in it. Sometimes, we inadvertently bring these challenges upon ourselves, and at other times, we believe others are to blame for our troubles, and as such, we get so mad at them. In fact, sometimes we get so worked up that we are prepared to strike back at those we believe are the cause of our emotional pain and broken hearts. Or we may vow to get even with them at some point in the future if we don't have the capacity to strike back now. However, the Bible has a different approach. It states, if someone has done you wrong, do not repay him with a wrong. Do everything possible on your part to live in peace with everybody. Never take revenge, my friends, but instead let God's anger do it. It continues to say that instead, as Scripture says, if your enemies are hungry, feed them. If they are thirsty, give them a drink. For by doing this, you will make them burn with shame. Do not let evil defeat you. Instead, conquer evil with good. That is in Romans 12:17 to 21. Well, that's easier said than done. At least that is my experience. However, when I look at it from a different angle, I get a better perspective. Look at it this way. Two wrongs can never make a right. And a tit-for-tat attitude creates more problems than it can solve. When I look at it that way, I am more inclined to seek peace instead. Get what I mean? Now, the truth is, emotional pain, as you may well know, is real and often hard to deal with. What I want to do in this discourse is share with you an experience that was quite emotionally challenging for me and how I dealt with it. And I am hoping that my experience might resonate with someone out there who might be going through some emotionally challenging situation in their life right now as well. And that's coming up next. I am Starling Lips. Welcome to the Path of Greatness, the podcast. I believe that one of the most valuable gifts you can give yourself is to be true to yourself, being authentically you and living your life the best way you can without pretending to be someone else or trying to please everybody in order to fit in or be accepted by others. Your journey to becoming more inspired and emboldened to follow your dreams and live an authentic and successful life, walking the path of greatness, starts right now. Late in my 20s, I was involved in a romantic relationship, and that relationship left me very, very heartbroken. I felt betrayed and lied to. I felt taken for a ride, and I was very, very upset and disappointed. All sorts of things were going on in my mind at the time. I was angry with myself for getting into such a mess, and worst of all, I felt helpless. Have you ever been in a situation like that? It was really tough for me. I subsequently became withdrawn for a while. I felt lost. And that went on for a couple of months. And then One day, I decided to gather the courage to talk to the lady concerned about what she had done to me and how it had devastated me. I poured out my heart and openly talked about the hurt I was feeling and how I felt taken for a ride and let down by her. Tears trickled down my cheeks as I spoke and unburdened myself. I was uploading all my bottled up feelings and emotions, releasing them, as it were. She was kind enough to just sit there and listen to me. After a while, and what seemed like my last word on the matter, I breathed a deep, big sigh of relief. And you could see that I looked calmer and more relaxed. A gentle smile started to form on my face. I don't know what happened, but I felt lighter, and I think what helped was that she just listened without interrupting or arguing with me. I look back now and I think that was the moment I had closure with her, and I was able to move on with my life. You see, my story is not unique. Many of us carry with us burdens, disappointments, betrayals, rejections, and all manner of things that are weighing us down and choking the life out of us, so to say. The thing is, having bottled up negative emotions can only serve to do you harm and not good. The best thing you can do for yourself is to release those negative feelings and emotions. Otherwise, they will keep you bound in a precarious psychological state. One of the best ways to release bottled up negative emotions is to talk to somebody about what you are going through or experiencing. Understandably, it might be hard to do so, but you have to gather the courage to do it. Talk to somebody. Now, talking to somebody does not mean just anybody. There are two categories of people you can speak to in this instance. They should either be part of the problem or part of the solution. Let me explain. Say, for example, you feel betrayed by a colleague of yours, and as a result, you start feeling resentment, anger, and hatred towards them. What do you think you should do when that happens? Well, you need to get whatever is causing the feelings of anger and resentment sorted. Your first point of call would be to talk it over with your colleague and let them know how you feel about them betraying your confidence or trust or whatever it is they have done. Communicate your feelings and concerns to them with a view to seeking understanding and reconciliation. If it is hard for you to do that, then consider talking to somebody whom you know can listen to both of you without prejudice, your manager, pastor, or mentor perhaps. Do not, however, just go and pour out your heart to any ear. That might actually be counterproductive and even cause you more emotional turmoil. Not everyone is empathetic enough or has the patience to deal with emotional challenges you might be facing. Now, sometimes the emotional roller coasters you go through might have nothing to do with what anybody has done to you, but it might be because of the general state of affairs in your family, community, or country. Genuine, legitimate concerns like, for example, frustration due to lack of employment, frustration with taking long to get the right marriage partner, frustration for loss of a loved one, or for mistakes you have made in the past that are now causing you lots of trouble. It could be anything, really. Who knows? All these things can pose very serious emotional challenges for many people. Any normal person would feel emotionally overwhelmed should they have to deal with them. However, being proactive and not allowing these legitimate concerns to build up emotional banks that will reach dangerous levels is a wise thing to do. If you allow yourself to be emotionally overwhelmed, you might end up being like a walking time bomb waiting to explode. Excuse my military language here. And anyone who crosses you in the slightest risks being on the onslaught of your unsolicited emotional outburst. The wise thing to do is to empty yourself of those frustrations as often as you can and as soon as possible. You have to nip problems in the bud before they grow into more serious and harder to deal with issues. Dealing with trouble promptly is usually the best approach and is generally more cost-effective financially, relationally, and emotionally than hoping that the trouble will, go away on its own accord. Just remember that nobody is immune to challenges. We all have our own fair share of challenges to deal with, and from time to time, we will need a shoulder to lean on. No man is an island. We need each other, and we should be there for each other in good times as well as in challenging ones too. The secret to resolving challenges we encounter in life and to be at peace with ourselves and others is to accentuate the solutions more than the problems at hand. So, I wonder, do you feel overwhelmed with life's challenges right now? Do you feel hurt? Do you feel lonely and helpless? Do you feel emotionally weighed down? If so, I urge you to take action. Talk it over with somebody you can trust to listen to you without prejudice or judgment. By talking things over, you will feel relieved and you will find insight and inspiration to move on or to start all over if you have to. The lights will be turned on and the darkness dispelled. Solutions to your predicament will also somehow start emerging. However, what if you can't get yourself to talk to somebody? Some of you might be asking that. How can you rescue yourself from bad thoughts and negative emotions? How can you help yourself when you find yourself constantly thinking negatively? Well, by the time you find yourself deeply engrossed in negative thinking, it is not much help trying to replace the negative thoughts with positive ones. This is no time for positive thinking, at least not at that very moment. The most effective way to combat bad and negative thoughts under those circumstances is by giving thanks and positive action. That is, get up and do something positive for yourself or someone else. Like, giving charity, volunteering, going for a workout in the gym, helping somebody in need, singing, dancing to your favorite song. Start giving thanks for the things you have, etc. Just do something positive. That's how you drive negative thoughts and emotions out. And once you have driven them out, contemplate on the positive actions you just did and read and meditate on something positive. Do some positive affirmations. You do that not in the middle of being overwhelmed with negative thoughts, but after you've sort of done some good deeds or something to lift your spirits up, and then you can then contemplate on the things you've done. Trying to get yourself to start thinking positive when you are overwhelmed with negative emotions is very, very challenging. But if you give thanks for the things you have in your life that somehow make you happy, even if it's just a bit of happiness they give you, and you combine that with doing something positive, you'll in no time get yourself out of the clutches of tormenting negative thoughts and emotions. Now, Here are other things you can do as well. Some time ago, I posed a question to members of the social media groups I belong to on Facebook, and here is the question. What do you normally do when you are down, feeling really low, but want to get out of that slump? There were over 230 comments posted in response to that question, but I have just picked a few for you here. Michael said, "Take the good with the bad," meaning I think of everything else that is good that has happened to me and what I'm learning and sacrificing. Elisa said, "I almost had a meltdown 2 days ago of a task that seemed very difficult. I let my feelings run their course, then put on some music, danced a little, and went back to the task I needed to complete." Michelle said, "I journal, read a book, watch a movie, reach out to someone, watch something positive and uplifting on YouTube like Tony Robbins, write a gratitude log, write an action scene for my YA fantasy novel." Mitch said, "Right now, one of the things that works for me to feel centered is listening to spiritual talks and aromatherapy." Rich said, "I get up, clean, organize my car, room, house, garage. Makes me feel better. Go for a walk, visit fun friends." Ali said, "I put on some music that makes me want to dance like no one is watching. Or I will write down a list of everything I'm grateful for. But most of all, and it's not for everyone, I go do some volunteer work at a homeless shelter or women's refuge and remind myself of how fortunate I am compared to others and get out of victim mode." Ken said, "Remember you have a purpose in life. Being rock bottom means there's only one way now, and that's up. Look in the mirror and repeat an affirmation. I love and approve myself. Do 15 minutes of fast exercise." Bettina said, "I pray for other people in similar situations, and I thank God for being still well." Catherine said, "Volunteer your time to serve others. In turn, you serve and better yourself. Trust me, this is the key. Plus, of course, eating well, exercising, yoga, meditation, and reading books that open your mind and encourage you to do more. Demand more of yourself." Ashlyn said, "Fake laugh until you're really laughing." I used to do this a lot. I still often sometimes when, just laugh, you just try to fake laugh and eventually you get yourself laughing really big time. And she said it's hilarious. Now, I hope that what some of these kind people wrote in reply can be of help to you. And you can combine it with the following 4 principles of a stress-free life. I use them myself in my life. The first one is, be true to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Be impeccable with your word. Never, ever lie to yourself. Number 2, train yourself not to take things personally. Now, there is a lot going on in the world, and everybody is dealing with their own issues in life. People are trying to, just, living and surviving. And at times you might come in their path when they're trying to survive, and they might do something really naughty, funny, or even terrible to you. Sometimes they don't mean to. They're just trying to survive, and you just got on their way, and they want to get you out of their way. And so sometimes just not taking things personally can help you deal with issues in a more clear way than when you take everything that happens to you personally. Number 3, don't make assumptions. Seek clarification whenever you are not sure of something instead of making assumptions that may be totally wrong and emotionally challenging. Number 4, and the last one, always do the best you can where you are with what you have. Don't stress yourself out trying to be perfect. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress in life. Perfection is a far-fetched dream. No one is perfect, and you shouldn't ever think or strive to be perfect. Just strive to make progress. Take those steps, baby steps, and you will get there. There you have it. And with that, we come to the end of this discourse. I hope you found it useful. What I have just shared with you here are excerpts from chapter 13 of my latest book, Walking the Path of Greatness. And it's available now on Amazon, wherever you are in the world. I am Sterling Libs, and you have been listening to The Path of Greatness, the podcast. If you liked this episode, be sure to click the like button, share it, buy the book for yourself or a friend or relative, and also follow or subscribe to this channel or page so that you can continue receiving more content like this and help someone else who might need to hear this by forwarding it to them. But I want to personally thank you for taking the initiative and having the bravery to step into the space of awareness and authenticity, not only for yourself, but also for the benefit of those around you. Till next time, be sure to take good care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing and hosting you again right here and having another emboldening conversation. Have a good day. Take